Velkommen til en ny episode av Rusrevyen. Denne episoden blir på engelsk, og så kan dere sjekke episodebeskrivelsen. Jeg har lyst til å sørge for at det blir mulighet til å få tekstet oversettelse, så sjekk episodebeskrivelsen angående det. Okay, welcome Jana to Norway. I think you arrived here yesterday, and welcome to Nordic Reform Conference.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, today we're outside of the regular studio because, as I said, it's the Nordic Reform Conference going on, and Jana is going to give a lecture later today. But we were so lucky that Jana had some time to talk with us here on the podcast. During this very busy day.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah. So Jana, you arrived here from the Czech Republic yesterday.
Yeah.
And you're going to give a talk later about the drug policy changes going on in the Czech Republic. But maybe you could just start by introducing yourself a little bit and how you found this field and what you care about.
Oh, of course. Well, I am an advisor in the Ministry of Justice in Czech Republic, and I'm also an assistant professor at the University of Chemistry and Technology. And my journey to the drug policy topic was basically through Czech Pirate Party. I started being a member in 2012, I think. So a long time ago already. We started wanting to legalize cannabis, and me having studied the field of medicinal biotechnology, so like pharmacology and stuff, then I was interested in drugs, and not only medicinal drugs, but all the drugs, even the illegal ones, and how they interact with the receptors. But then it grown to a fascination with how are we regulating these substances, and if it's effective, and if there is maybe a better way to do it. And so we started with cannabis, but then it grew more and more into a complex drug policy strategy. And and
that was from the Pirate Party.
Yeah,
that had the strategy.
Yeah.
So the Pirate Party, they were running for in the elections as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. How did they do?
The Pirate Party has been in the Czech Parliament for 2 terms already.
Yeah.
And in the second term, they got invited into the government. So we had the chance to draft part of the policy statement of the government, and I put in there one sentence. It was just one sentence in which I had to put all our drug strategy into, but we made it, and then this one statement carried us through the term, basically.
Really?
Yeah.
That must have been a really good sentence.
Yeah, it was very hard to drafting it, because everything had to be there, even the financing, even the regulation according to harm, everything. But we did it somehow. But it wasn't just this one sentence. Czech Republic has, let's say, long tradition with progressive thinking coming from experts in the country. So how do you say it? Standing on the shoulders of giants. Basically, we were continuing the tradition by furthering the progress that was made since the early 2000s in Czech Republic with the decriminalization of possession. And so it wasn't like a standalone gig, but we progressed further in rational regulation in Czech Republic this term. So
yeah, I was really wanting to ask you about that, because I think, at least but I guess many Norwegians as well, we don't hear much about what's going on in the Czech Republic at all, and don't know much about the political climate or anything. So it's been a progressive wind in the drug policy reform for quite a while then in Czechia.
Yeah, it's been on and off.
Yeah.
It's from the decriminalization efforts, which were like I said, early 2000s, there was a pause in the progress being made, but now it has been because of the Pirate Party being in the government and being in the parliament last term, where it wasn't that we progressed, that we made the changes happen, but we talked about it a lot, and it was getting media attention. And so in this term, 4 years later, it was already talked about in, let's say, not such controversial tones in the media and among the politicians. And also what helped a lot was the trends in the other European countries. Malta, Luxembourg, Germany. Germany is a very big influence in Czech Republic. The politicians always want to follow what's happening in Germany. So when Germany announced that they were ready to regulate cannabis in some way or another, it was easier for us to say, okay, so we should maybe do that too now, when Germany is doing it.
Yeah, that also makes sense because bordering countries,
Yeah.
right? So it's also going to create some issues if Germany is regulating cannabis and you can get it legally there, but you can't do it in the Czech Republic.
Yeah,
you don't want maybe like people traveling across the borders.
Yeah, certainly. Yeah. And it's still some form of an argument from the prohibitionist side that this will create problems for Poland and Slovakia, which are much stricter on the drug issues than we are. But yeah, with Germany going ahead, we had a better place to go off from. So yeah, that's how we started. And I was more ambitious. I wanted to have the whole package. I wanted to have self-growing. I wanted to have cannabis clubs, and I wanted to have regulated market. But as I said, Germany is a big influence in Czech Republic, and when Germany stepped back from wanting the regulated market also, it took the wind of our sails a little bit. So we stepped back also. And also there were other problems in the government, and the Pirate Party left the government, so there wasn't the main leader of the changes was no longer in the government. And so I had to start working with the Minister of Justice, who is coincidentally a member of a right-wing conservative party, but he wanted to do it. So I started working with him on the reform, which wasn't as big as I wanted it to. But yeah, from January, regarding cannabis, from January we will have legally
in January 2026.
Oh yeah. This January. So we will have allowed the growing of some plants, like limited amount of plants for people over 21. And we will have legal possession in a very limited amount. This is the part of the regulation that I don't like, and I don't agree with it, because the amount that the person can possess legally,
also at their home,
does not correspond to the amount of plants that he can grow. So in my perspective, this regulation will help the people that get their cannabis from the illegal market more than the self-growers, because the self-growers will still be in a illegal zone when they harvest their plants. But this is the case in many European countries. Even Germany has this limit that doesn't really correspond to the number of plants. I think, or at least in our country, it was because the politicians, when they hear the rational amount that you would get from the number of plants, they get scared, because it's a really big amount. But it should last the person the whole year, basically. But still, when you say okay, 1,000 grams of cannabis. That would be maybe good, equivalent to the number of plants. They see it's 1 kilo of cannabis. That's too much. We can't have that. It's like, it's politically controversial, and they didn't want to get behind it. So we got 100 grams, which is not really ideal, as I say. I think it betters the situation for the people that get their cannabis from illegal market, not for those that self-grow. But I mean, politics is the art of the possible. So this is what was possible in this term, and yeah, we will see.
Yeah, because one of the mechanisms when you get so much cannabis from the plants that you are allowed to have, you need to get rid of it somehow. Yeah. So a lot of people, I guess, they will like pass it along or sell it to their friends.
And that's a criminal offense already.
And right. That's I assume it is. And some will probably sell it to like an even bigger group than their friend group. So yes, that's a criminal offense to sell it still.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense.
The distribution and also the distribution and the criminal offenses related to that are mandated by European Union. We have the framework decision of the at the European level, and this mandates us to have some sentences for some types of crimes relating to drugs, and the distribution for money is one of them. So we need to have some sentences for this, and we couldn't get rid of it. And also, as I said, there wasn't really that they didn't want to have the regulated market, and this would be some kind of market because people would be legally selling it. Yeah.
I think for some people, regulating it so that you can produce your own cannabis, but you cannot, like, you get this issue with how to get rid of it. It seems like you're not getting like the full advantages that you could be getting from like a fully regulated market. You're not really getting rid of the criminal actors, for instance. I did see though that in Germany, because they had like planned several phases of their regulation, and now they've done phase 1, and then the government changed, and they weren't so progressive anymore. But they also haven't like gone back, which I think is really good to mention. So in Germany now, it's also like you can grow for yourself. Can you also grow in like collectives? Yeah.
That's what we didn't get the chance to pass. So that's also one setback, that we just didn't have the political capital to do when the pirates weren't in the government anymore. So you can't really share, you can't really grow for someone else who can't grow themselves. So there is still gonna be people who can't grow because they can't physically, or they don't have the space to grow it, or they have a rental contract that doesn't allow them to, which will be the situation of many people. But then there is just one other option apart from the illegal market, and that is medicinal cannabis or medical cannabis, which is legal in Czech Republic, but it is very strict. The regulation around it is very strict, and there are some numbers that not even 30% of the people that should have access to the medical cannabis already have the access. It's very limited regarding the practitioners who can prescribe it. It's very administratively taxing for the practitioners. It's more strictly regulated than prescription opioids. So we also need to think, and we are trying, every term we are trying to make the regulation around medical cannabis more lenient, because when people can't grow themselves, and there is a lot of people who self-medicate in Czech Republic because they don't have access to the medical cannabis. through their doctor. And so we need to think about these people also. Now, as it stands, we just leave them the option of the illegal market. And that's what we were trying to eliminate by the regulation. So yeah, I think we have a long road ahead, but this is like a first step.
It is, and it's a very, very important first step. I want to talk more about the political climate, but before that, I was wondering, so you said that the age limit now in the Czech Republic to grow yourself is 21 years old. Yeah. What is the age limit for alcohol?
18.
18. What do you think about that?
Yeah. Well, I think when alcohol regulation was made, which is a long time ago, we didn't know. And also alcohol in Czech Republic, and I think most of Europe still, has a special place. Some people call it cultural heritage, and it's in Czechia especially, it's very difficult to propose stricter regulation for alcohol. I tried a lot, and I get shut down every time.
Unpopular.
Yeah, very unpopular. And so when we were designing the regulation for cannabis, we were having the discussions about, okay, cannabis can have effects on the neural development of young people. We shouldn't have it at 18 years old because we know that the development is not finished by then. I personally would maybe feel safer if it was even higher than 21, but I think 21 is really better than 18. So that's why we did it. I would like to see similar things happening with alcohol, but I think we are far, far from that in Czech Republic. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the age limit question is an important one. My organization here in Norway, Safer Youth, together with the Association for Safer Drug Policies, we've been doing a cannabis reform campaign the last couple of years. And one thing that we're trying to call attention towards is the need to protect children better. And we think that can happen with age limits and places that you can go, like regulated places that they sell cannabis instead of just having it as like an informal market.
Oh, yeah.
But when it comes to like exactly what the age limit should be, I've not fully decided what I believe is the right thing. So I'm really glad to see that some other European countries are moving ahead and giving us some more knowledge to work based off on. But I think in my head, some of the debate is we know that using any substance is not good when the brain is not fully developed. It's associated with a lot of like negative health impacts and life outcomes. But in Norway, people drink alcohol at age 18. Most start before. Mm-hmm. And we also know that alcohol is really dangerous and that cannabis is, in a lot of like research, shown to be like less harmful. So in a way, it's weird to me to let people drink, to not let them have like the less dangerous substance. Mm-hmm. But also, they're very young, and I think I would prefer people to not have access to alcohol really until they were a bit older. But as you're saying, it's very unpopular.
Yeah.
But given that alcohol is available at 18, it's also a bit weird that cannabis shouldn't be at the same time.
It's hypocritical, to least. But it's not only that it's unpopular, and it's not only about the limit of 18 years old. Alcohol in Czech Republic is such a staple in cultural event, in sports event. Children are infused with drinking alcohol around them the whole of their lives till they are babies. And we have things like, I don't know if you have that in Norway, these like fake champagnes for children. It's like a lemonade It looks like a champagne. It also shoots the cork.
I'm not
of
sure
it.
we have that.
Yeah, we have that, and that's for children celebrations, for birthday parties. So they really like play pretend using alcohol before they are like 5 or something. So yeah, the drinking limit is one thing, but most of the children in Czech Republic start drinking before, and a lot of them start drinking in their families because their parents give them alcohol at family reunions and stuff. So it's a much bigger problem than just the regulation. It's infused in the culture, and we need to slowly get its way.
Yeah. And sometimes, like with different like societal issues that we're dealing with, they're not easily solvable necessarily with like political decisions. So it's a lot of work. I think in Norway as well, we could benefit from a more reflected relationship with alcohol. I've been shocked sometimes with the way that people are just like so. They think it's like so normal for kids to be around alcohol. For instance, I was like in this volleyball club before, and I was sitting in the board, and there was this one team, and they played in like the senior level, but over half of the players were like young, like juniors, and that team wanted to have like an event where it was okay for the older players, and they were like early 20s, middle of the 20s, that they could drink, and then that the young kids who were like 16, they could be there at the same time. And the board was like, I think that's fine. It should be up to the parents. And I'm like, I don't think that's fine.
Yeah,
I think it's weird that you think that is fine. It's they're too young, and it should be obvious that people they're like finished with their university degrees, they should not be drinking with people who are not finishing high school.
Exactly.
But people are just, they don't agree with me, obviously. So
yeah, it's very embedded in the cultures. In Europe. Anyways. Sorry to bring back these bad memories.
It's just like, it's perplexing to me.
It is.
But I also wanted to talk about, because it's not only cannabis that the Czech Republic has had progressive policy movements towards. Can you tell me about like some of the other stuff that's going on? I think you mentioned treatment with the mushrooms, for instance.
Yeah, we had long discussions throughout the term about allowing assisted psychedelic experiences. This was part of, let's say, harm reduction efforts and decriminalization efforts, but it was not really passable. We didn't have the political capital to do it. So instead, we aimed to legalize medical psilocybin, and that we managed to pass. So from January, again, there will be, let's say, a pilot phase of treatment with psilocybin for treatment-resistant depression, and also some terminal cases and anxieties connected with that. And I think we were on this path for, let's say, long time, because our researchers at our National Institute of Mental Health have been part of the clinical trials with psilocybin, also with ketamine. And so this was, for me, it was a logical consequence of the research that was being done in Czech Republic. We also have, I think, 2-year experience with, let's say, off-label ketamine therapy, because we have ketamine as a medicine, but not for psychiatric diagnosis.
Yeah.
But some mental health centers managed to get around that, and they are prescribing it off-label, and they are doing therapy with it. So we have some data also with ketamine already from practice, not from research. And because the centers are working with ketamine for some time now, they also got licensed for psychedelic therapy, and they got their certificates abroad. And so I think we were prepared institutionally and on the expert level. And so, and I hope it will only get better, because now it is mainly Prague, also one other big city in Czech Republic. But my dream is that this therapy would be accessible in the regions that need it most. And this is not Prague. It's the regions that are not really developed, where there is a lot of mental health issues, a lot of substance abuse issues, and it's not really there yet. So we planned for the first phase of the regulation that these centers that already have the experience will carry out the first phase of the medicinal psilocybin therapy, but in doing so, they will teach others from across the Republic to do it also, because we need to make it more accessible to people around Czechia. So yeah, we have the regulation. Now we are working on the specifics regarding how it will be done, the clinical methodology, how it's going to be performed and stuff. And yeah, it should start in January. So I hope that it will also provide some data for other European countries to join us, because I think there is a lot of potential in psilocybin or psychedelic therapy as a whole. And yeah, I think the research that we have is very promising. And I think that we can't afford to let people with treatment-resistant disorders to suffer, because they don't have any other chance, and there is a big probability that this will help them. So I think it's only moral to do it.
Yeah, I think it's also very interesting when it comes to like mental health disorders in general, that there seems to be like different treatments that work for different people.
Yeah.
So some people, like a small percentage, I don't know exactly what the number is, but less than I thought initially, they get treated from using like antidepressants, but then for other people it's like a conversation therapy, and I guess like for some, mushrooms will probably be, or psilocybin treatment will probably be like very impactful. At least a lot of research is pointing in that way. But so in Czech Republic, you've had like maybe research trials the last many years, and now it's like being rolled out. So patients, they can actually come in and get it without being also part of the research.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I think it is really important for all of Europe and all of the world, really, that some countries are moving ahead with this. I know in Norway, they're so like holding back with a lot of these things. They want to like see other countries to do it first, because we just don't have enough knowledge. So I'm glad that some people are just
we're happy to do it.
Yeah, please. But there's some good stuff is happening here as well. Ketamine treatment just got a lot more accessible.
Oh, yeah, I heard.
Yeah, and at Sykehuset Østfold, they're doing like MDMA research for I think also treatment-resistant depression.
Okay.
Which has been very, very promising so far. So yeah, so some good stuff is happening, and I can't wait for more good stuff to start happening. Yeah, but also there are also other substances that are getting regulated currently.
We had let's say, a problem, a challenge with some new substances entering the market. For example, one of them has been Kratom, which is a plant from Southeast Asia. And it's been used traditionally for hundreds of years there, but it's found its way into Central Europe, and I think all over Europe. But
how does it work?
Well, it has a pretty complicated mode of action. It interacts with a lot of different receptors, but the main pathway through which it works with some opioid receptors. Not all of them, but some of them. And that also influenced which people started using Kratom in Czech Republic. A lot of opioid users starting, let's say, supplementing with Kratom, which I think is good because Kratom does not have the same issues with overdose deaths, because the specific receptors that are involved in the breathing suppression are not interacted with Kratom.
So people can use like some of opioids that are addicted to or that they need, but can use Kratom at the same time to get
they
more...
can use Kratom instead.
Instead, yeah, like a substitution.
Yeah. And so, and also that there is no risk of them really dying if they don't combine it with anything else. So as a harm reduction, I think it's great. The less positive thing that happened with Kratom is that it has a very interesting activity. In small doses, it's stimulating. In larger doses, it gets sedating and it has analgesic effects, so it works for pain. And so a lot of the, let's say, gym bro community, the people that are into fitness and are going to the gym all the time, they somehow, it got into this community and they started using it as a pre-workout. But these communities weren't really informed about what it is, how it works, that you really shouldn't take it every day, that you shouldn't enlarge your doses, and that there are some abstinence effects if you stop taking it, like from day to day. And so we've seen some problematic use in these people who were not informed on what they are taking, because these internet stores were selling it as pre-workout, just some other kind of a supplement. They didn't really tell them what it was, how it worked, and what they should do with it. So, and also by this time, we saw that it started to be sold in vending machines. In vending machines and shopping centers, in malls and stuff. So, of course, people...
Because it was like completely unregulated, or was it regulated as like a food, or...
Well, the distributors found a loophole and they sold it as a collectible item.
Okay.
So they labeled it as not for human consumption. But everyone who knew it was for human consumption. So there was this problem with the vending machines because, of course, children could get to the products. And also there was a problem that
and was that happening, that children actually got a hold of it?
Oh, used it?
It's not just like a theoretical thing.
That was happening. Teachers were finding it at schools. Children were using it at school.
What were the children saying about it themselves? How did they interpret?
Well, they knew what it was. They found it on the internet and they knew what they were doing. They wanted to get high. And it was available, so they did it. And so, of course, we wanted to get rid of Kratom in the vending machines, but also we wanted to take the opportunity that Kratom is not internationally controlled. We did not have to ban it outright. And so we started thinking of, okay, how could we regulate it so that we protect the youth, so that they don't have access to it, but also we let the adult users use it and let them have safe product, which doesn't contain mold, that doesn't contain heavy metals and stuff, which is regulated as for human consumption. But also, how can we ensure that they are making an informed decision? And so we came up with the regulation, which we call Psychomodulatory Substances Act. This is a difficult word, but we had to invent a word because there are so many words for different psychoactive substances, but they are all taken and they mean something in the legislative terms. So we needed a new category. And what this means is we have a schedule which does not ban substances, which allows them to be sold at licensed shops to which children don't have access to. They can't even go in there, let alone buy it. And the product itself is regulated. There has to be information about dosage. There has to be information about the amount of active substance in it. There has to be harm reduction information on the packaging. And we are limiting the dosage of the active substance that can be in the product. This is what we are trying. It's an experiment to regulate access to adults and to have them have safer products, which they would otherwise buy on illegal market, and have it maybe contaminated, have it maybe laced with something. It is always less safe to buy from illicit market, of course. And so we will see. For now we have Kratom on the list, which should be implemented from January. So this January will be big in Czech Republic, big change is happening. But we want to have other substances on the list in the next years. Right now we are making experiments, toxicological and pharmacological experiments with some synthetic cannabinoids, so that we can have some cannabinoid safely for adults to buy, because we didn't manage to have THC cannabis legalized.
Because you think that's going to be like easier to pass?
Yeah.
And is that because of like
the
existing...
international?
Yeah. That's because I've been traveling a bit in Europe the last few years, and I also went to Prague. And many places I went, I saw these like shops that were like cannabis shops, and you could walk inside and they had all these like synthetic cannabis products that are seemingly like unregulated or not very regulated.
They are not regulated. It's the same case as with Kratom. They are selling it as collectibles, but it's a vape pen. So it's like, okay, is this collectible or is it for human consumption? Of course it is for human consumption.
And it was really curious to walk into those shops, and I was trying to like ask him some questions because I had not heard about like these shops popping up in Europe, but they're everywhere. And I went inside and I was like asking them about the products, like what is this? And I was also shocked that most of the people working there seemingly didn't know really what they were selling. They were just like trying to sell it to me, and they were like, well, it's gonna get you high. And I was like, okay, but I was just like, what is this? It's like what I'm trying to know. Is it like from the plant and then they took a little piece out somehow, like something that's already in the plant, or is it like completely synthetically made? I have no clue. I don't know if they know.
They don't know most of the time. And also what didn't help was we had HHC at first, HHC is found in the plant, but in really small doses. But it is natural, let's say. But most of the HHC that was on the market was synthetically made, basically from CBD. This cannabinoid, we know, let's say, not a lot about, but we know how it works. We know the basic pharmacology. It's very similar to THC.
CBD or HHC?
HHC.
Yeah.
We know it works similarly to THC. It's a little less potent than THC, but HHC got banned on the international level. So we had to ban it also. But then, as it always does, another synthetic cannabinoids entered the market. And this way, we already banned like 5 or 6. And others are flooding the market like week after we ban the last one. And so this is why we are studying these ones that we already banned for sale. We want to see which one of them are the most safe, so that we can allow them to be on the market, but in regulated products, not in this unregulated mess being sold everywhere to anyone. But this will take time. We need to do tests in like modeling receptor interactions, tests on tissue cultures. This is all part of the battery of experiments that need to be done to say, okay, this is safe and this is how it works, basically. But at the end of this process, I hope we will have some candidates to put on the psychomodulatory bill so that we can prevent other less researched and potentially more dangerous cannabinoids entering the market and being sold like haphazardly.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand. It's like a roundabout way though, because like we know so much about like actual cannabis already. So making these like synthetic variants,
it's just what the prohibition does.
Yeah. And I think it's a very good example also that you can see all these like new synthetic cannabinoids just like popping into the market all the time. In Norway, our regulation works a bit different. So okay, I'm probably like not getting this quite right, but I think it's you ban like an entire like
a group.
Group. So all these like synthetic cannabinoids, I think they're like automatically banned. So we don't get those. We did have HHC in some like smoke shops for a while, but I think they're all gone. So but yeah, like so we don't have like a lot of. I don't think, at least, we have a lot of synthetic cannabinoids flooding the market here. But there is, of course, like a huge illegal cannabis market. Quite a bit of Norwegians smoke cannabis and smoke it regularly, and they get it from just illicit market with no control of what's in it. Let me see. I'm just gonna look over. I wanted to ask also. In the Czech Republic, when those like cannabis smoke shops started appearing, how did the public react to those stores? Did they like pay attention, or is it just like?
Well, to be perfectly honest, these cannabis shops that you see in the center of Prague, these are basically like tourist traps. They are not seen anywhere else. Apart from the center of Prague. So these are not the main problem, like on the country level. On the country level, what is a problem is that these products are being sold in basically any convenience store in any bigger city, and it's not like what you've seen, like a cannabis shop with a
it's like really
big
neon signs and it's like flashing.
It's not like that. It's just your regular convenience store where you buy groceries. But then they have these like products and it's not
and they're visible and they're like right there. So this is the every
the
time
main...
people go to get groceries, they might get tempted to also buy.
But it's basically more the younger people who are drawn to these types of products, of course. And that's why we want to regulate it, so that the adults who use it have access to them, but we limit the access to the youths.
Because the synthetic cannabinoids, have they had like an age limit so far? In those like shops or in the grocery stores, for instance? No? So like anyone could buy them?
Well, yeah, because it is a collectible.
Yeah.
And you can't really put an age limit on selling collectibles.
Is there anyone arguing in the Czech Republic at this time that you should do like Norway is doing instead, that you just like ban the entire group of cannabinoids?
Yeah, there has been some voices saying that, and we already did something similar. It wasn't like all synthetic cannabinoids, but a smaller group of derivatives of THC. We said like these types of derivatives are banned.
Okay.
So, but it still leaves plenty of room because the molecule can be adjusted in various ways chemically. So this is a battle that you can't win. So yeah, we are
like
trying.
Whack-a-mole.
Yeah, exactly.
So I see that we're running out of time.
Okay.
So I think the last question I wanted to ask you is like, what's the next steps? Like after January, what do you think is like the likely scenario in the Czech Republic going forward?
Well, we have parliamentary elections in 7 days.
Wow.
So let's see. We really don't know. It can be very bad because as in a lot of countries in Europe, there are nationalists on the rise.
Yeah.
And
but you said like the far right party that they worked with you.
Oh no, that was a right wing but conservative party, but they are like near the center. Then we have the real like these proto-fascists, which
and they're not positive to drug policy reform.
No, not really.
Yeah. I would assume so.
yeah. Not surprisingly. So we will see. We will see what is in store for us. But we have this regulation which has passed, so I hope we will deliver. We will see that it works, and we will work on getting it implemented as broadly as possible. Regarding the psychomodulatory substances, my dream is that we have a psychomodulatory substance of every big group of substances that people want to use leisurely. So we will have, in the future, we will have some type of cannabinoid in there so that people can buy it safely. We will have some kind of stimulant in there. We will have Kratom in there for people who don't want to use opioids from the illicit market. And that's really like ambitious. And I, in the future, want to also have some psychedelic in there so that people can have safe access to safe psychedelics. Hopefully, also by then, we will have the assisted psychedelic experience made possible by the law. But yeah, this is my dream, so that people can have safer supply than they have now, and that we don't support organized crime, and that we collect the tax money and that we invest it back into prevention and harm reduction.
Yeah, well said. Well, we'll pay attention. Really hoping that you get, that you record results that we can use in the policy work here in Norway and other countries as well. Thank you so much for taking the time, and good luck with your lecture, and enjoy the rest of your visit here.
Oh, thank you again for inviting me.